All right, I'm putting together this video because a lot of people have asked me lately, Kai, what do you do different? Kai, how do you go about your sales process? How do you go about selling mortgage protection? And I know there's so many producers better than me, but this is how I do it. I feel like a lot of times people ask me that question, and I have so much to say to make it easier for them to sell mortgage protection, but I couldn't say it all in one conversation. So I'm making this video so that everything I know can be on video, and this is how I approach every single call. And I have an American Amicable Journal, but I'm not even contracted to them, so don't mind this. I'm all trans and moo. All right, so from the beginning of the call, I call them. So this is, by the way, this is going to be from the start of a pitch to the end of a pitch. I'm not going to get into any of the set or anything like that, but this is from the beginning of the pitch to the end of the pitch. So right when I make the call for our mortgage protection appointment to a prospect, I immediately say, hey, this is Kai calling for our mortgage protection appointment. How you doing today? From that moment on, I'm gathering data. So I'm listening, first of all, to how they sound on the call. Are they monotone? Are they upbeat? Are they high energy? Are they low energy? And immediately once I hear that after I say something, I match that energy right away. So if I'm like, hey, this is Kai calling for our mortgage protection appointment, and they're like, oh, hey Kai, how you doing? I go, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Is now still a good time for you? But if they're like, oh, hey Kai, I was waiting on your call. I say, yeah, I'm glad I got to reach you here. Go ahead and grab a pen and pad for me. I just want to get started with some information here before we get started. So you see that subtle difference? You match their energy and take them to the energy you want to go to. So if they're low energy, start there and slowly, gradually bring them up. If they're high and you don't want to stay high, bring them down to where you want them to go, but keep that high energy and use it to your advantage and leverage everything they can give you. So that's from the very jump of the call. I'm listening for their energy. Are they low energy, high energy, right in the middle? And I'm taking them to the energy I want to go to. Then I'm hearing what's going on in the background immediately, again, from the beginning of the call. Are they in a car driving? Are they, got kids running around? Are they just waking up from a nap? Are they sounding like they're about to go to take a nap? Are they confused that you called them? Do they remember who you are from the set call? Like, I'm gathering all of this data from the jump. And this is so important because if they are confused at the beginning, how do you expect to sell them something that's a little bit more complex? So I'm listening for this stuff. If they're driving a car, I'm saying, hey, is now a good time? I can call you back a little bit later to make sure you're focused, because you're going to be saying a lot of numbers you want them to write down. They can't write down any information if they're driving. If they're about to go to take a nap, they're like, oh man, I'm just going to sit on this phone call until I can say no and then hang up so I can take my nap. So you just want to make sure at this point they're in a position, in a posture to buy. Because if they're laying on the couch with the cover over them with the phone to their ear, they're not in a posture to buy, really. I mean, you can make them buy, but I don't think they will. That's a low percentage. And this game is all percentages. So make sure they're in a posture to buy. Make sure if they're napping, say, hey, yeah, if now's not a good time, I can call back. But if they say, no, it's good, say, well, okay, well, I'm going to need you to grab a pen and pad, and we're going to get going here because it is a few things that I want you to focus on. Just make sure they're ready, in a position and posture to buy right when the call starts. All right. Sorry, that was a long intro, but now we're getting into the call. Just make sure early on in the call, you put them at ease. They're going to be confused. Sometimes they're going to be like, oh, what is this again? Yeah, of course, this is the mortgage protection. Yeah, it looks like we haven't gone over it with you yet. So all it is, the biggest debt we pass down in our life is the mortgage. That'll be inherited by family when you pass. We have word tracks for stuff. That's why you practice, and that's what you got to know going into the calls. But just put them at ease, making them feel like this is just the next step in the process as a homeowner. That's why I do it a little differently. And like I'm going to mention throughout this whole call, everybody does it differently. I do it different than Kirk. Kirk does it different than Nolan. Nolan does it different than Josh, et cetera, et cetera. We all have our ways of doing it, but this is kind of my framework and bare bones of everything. So yeah, just put them at ease early, make them feel like it's just the next step in the process as a homeowner. I personally give them my name, number, license number at the beginning to let them know, hey, you can have any information from me, so that pre-handles some objections in the future. For me, again, I know a lot of people don't do that. This is important too. Stay calm and unrattled no matter what they say early. Like I said, this is going to determine who has the reins of the conversation. Now, if they call you and say, what is this? And you're like, the mortgage protection. Yeah. You know the mortgage protection? Dude, you're cooked. They have the reins and you just got booted to the sideline. Now it's their call and you're trying to get back the reins when you had them. Now, if they say, what is this again? And you reply calm and collected. Yeah, so this is the mortgage protection insurance. This looks like we haven't gone over the options with you. Now I can explain it to you if you want me to. You're making it seem you're cool, calm, and collected. Like, hey, this guy's unrattled, unfazed. That's how you keep the reins, and you want to keep the reins the whole conversation. But it's crucial at the beginning because if you lose them early, it's harder to get them back. But if you have them early, it's easier to keep them throughout the whole call. All right. Whew. Dude, I think this is going to be a longer video than I expected, but it's okay. Stay with me if you can. Okay, so after you keep the reins, let them feel like you already know what you need to know about them and that you're here to finally get them to set it up. So how I like to frame it is, I already know what I need to know about you, but I'm the senior field underwriter, so I can finally get you set up here. It looks like you missed this at closing. It finally came across my desk. I'm here to finally get it set up for you. So just keeping that kind of frame, that kind of vernacular while speaking to people. And then make sure there's no ambiguity at all, no confusion. Like I said before, there's people going to be confused on why you're calling them, forget who you are. Handle all that early because you don't want confusion to set in the middle of the pitch and they're still confused from the beginning. So handle everything. Again, explain what the mortgage protection, if they need clarity on it, explain exactly what the mortgage protection is. If they need clarity on who you are, give them exact clarity on who you are. If they're saying, are you with the bank? Make sure you don't lie, obviously, but give them clarity so they're not confused going into the pitch. Once you handle one or two of these, they'll be like, oh, okay, this guy obviously knows what he's doing. I trust him now. So make sure there's no ambiguity going into the pitch, okay? And again, reassure them that this is a super simple process. It's the next step in the process. It's super simple. We're gonna get it done from you. We just need to talk on the phone because it's such a super simple add-on that it gets done 15 minutes over the phone, boom, we're done, we'll get you out of here. I do this all day, it's super simple. Keep it super simple and ask your questions with purpose. So a lot of times, if you keep the reins in the beginning, then you go into the health section. This is when people are like, whoa, this is a HIPAA violation. I don't give my meds out to random strangers. That's why this part is important. You need to ask questions with purpose. You need to ask, so let's get started with the basic section here. What's your date of birth? They're like, whoa, how do you need to know how old I am? Well, like I told you before, it's based on just three things: age, health, and income. So that date of birth is going to give me your age. And say, if they're like, why do I need to give you my meds? Like I said before, it's only based on three quick things. Super simple: your age, health, and income. So this part of that health section, this is going to give me a reason to give you a way to give you a direct quote, direct cost, exact programs that you even qualify for. That's why I need your meds. So just having purpose behind your questions. You're not asking their birthday to go celebrate with them. You're asking their birthday to get their age. You're not asking their meds to go buy their meds for them. You're asking their meds to get their health information so you can plug it in the toolkit. You're asking questions with purpose, guys, and please remember that. So that way, when they ask you why you asking, you always have an answer because you're asking every single question you ask with purpose. And this allows them not to get sketched out, because if they get sketched out, then you're cooked again. Again, always having an answer and reasoning for every question you ask. So don't give them any inklings that you're stalling or dragging your feet or even pitching. I mean, you are doing the close call, you are pitching, but don't let them know that you're doing that. Make it feel like a super simple process where you're just the guy to get them the information and get it set up. Don't make it feel like, hey, yeah, this is, I'm selling you something. That's when you get into murky waters. So no inklings of stalling or feet dragging. Ask questions with purpose, clear, concisely, so you can get to the next thing, because we eventually want to get to the pitch, which is toolkit and the numbers and everything like that. All right. And as you go through the pitch, navigate their personality. This is where a lot of people, this is what separates people, in my opinion. Obviously, this is all my opinion. Navigate who you're talking to and their personality. Are they passive? Are they just saying, yeah, cool, whatever, yeah, I guess? Are they type A? No, I know exactly what my 401k is. I have a trust. I have everything set up for my family. I'm good. Are they type A? Are they the skeptic? Why do I need to give you that? Do you need that? And do I need to give you my age? Are they family centric? Oh, wow, I've been waiting for this because I want my daughter to be set up so that when I pass, the mortgage is paid off and the mortgage is paid down for her. Are they family centric? Are they just abrasive? Oh, man, you caught me. You know abrasive people. Who are you again? Explain. And who do you work with? Who's your company? No, who are you directly employed by? You know those abrasive people. You're going to get those. But navigate, you can use every single character type to your advantage, but just identify it early and act accordingly. So, for example, if they're family-centric, this is kind of what I love to talk to, the family-centric people, then I'll mold the pitch to the family-centric person. I'll say stuff like, and phrases like, yeah, this protects your daughter there. This protects her. And this is just that financial security blanket for Sally, and I'll say stuff like, the last thing we want is for Sally to be left with a financial burden. Then the bank forecloses on her, and then she loses all the equity you've been building over all these years. And I know that you care about Sally and want to set up, some protection for her. So this is what this is, and that's why we put these programs in place. So if they're family-centric, that's going to ring their ears and be ear candy more than an abrasive person. If you give the family talk to an abrasive person, they're like, okay, I get it. Or if you give the family talk to the people who just want the living benefits, that is going to be counterintuitive because they're like, no, so what's the living benefits? Terminal illness? Do I get chronic and critical with that too? So just navigate who you're talking to. That'll save you time and be more effective. All right. So now, during the pitch, guys, I like to call it the straight line. Keep the straight line. You want to go from A, the beginning of the call, to Z, to the end of the call where you're on the application and getting all the information. A to Z. It's a straight line. Prospects will try to take you here. Well, yeah, my daughter, she went to the house the other day and she was talking to my kids. Or they'll try to take you over here. Well, yeah, in a long time ago, I had a job and I was with the Army, with the VA. They'll try to bring you off that straight line. Keep them here. And obviously we have some humor in the pitch. You're not out here robbing any banks, are you? Use that with purpose. Use that effectively. Get them to laugh and say, I'm just checking on you. I didn't want to think you were robbing any banks or anything. All right, now let's go ahead and roll into that last section. It's just the income section. What's your net monthly income? Use humor, but use it with purpose. I see a lot of people try to add too many jokes, but we have some jokes set in there for a reason, so be effective with them. All right, and I'm sorry this is long. I hope you can watch this on 2x speed, but all right, this is important too. And I know this is probably super counter. Guys, by the way, this is all coming from Kai's brain. Obviously, it's not set in stone. This is just what I found effective. And obviously, numbers, pitch. The more you go through, the more you'll figure out things on your own that I don't know. Get more pitches in. But this is what I'm thinking when I'm turning off my brain. When I'm fully in a pitch, this is the stuff that I personally find effective. Now, anyways, I'll go to the next thing. Listen to how they're reacting throughout the pitch. Are they silent? Figure out why. Why are you silent? Are they not listening? Are they taking a nap? Did they fall asleep? Are they not understanding? Figure out, say, hey, did I create any questions for you so far? I know that you haven't been saying anything. I want to make sure we're on the same page. Figure out where they're silent and adjust. It's all about adjusting. The inner game of mortgage protection, obviously. Now, are they engaged? Are they saying, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Oh, internal illness? Okay, yeah. Now, why are they engaged? Are they really, are they just a personable person? Are they really surprised in a buyer's kind of joy to, wow, like, oh, this is what I need? Figure out why on that too, and adjust and keep in the vein if you're in the right vein. Now, periodically check in if they have questions so they don't get jumbled up in their head. I know we say a lot in the pitch, they can get jumbled up in their head. And then if they get jumbled up throughout the pitch, if you're going too fast and you're not checking in with them, they're going to shut down. And then there's no buying after a person shuts down. And this is what I want. This is a big point that I want to get to. And I think this was a breakthrough for me when I figured this out. The pitch, the B Hall script, this is B Hall script in reference, guys. The pitch is the bare bones. The pitch is the bare bones. The person giving the pitch and objection handling and answering questions, that's the heart of the bare bones. That's what fills in the skeleton of the pitch. Yeah, the B Hall script is beautiful and is structured in a way to give them the bare bones of everything, but you fill it in. You're the heart of it. You're You're everything in between. So that's why we need a person to say the pitch and answer the questions they have, because everyone's different. That's where the objection handling comes in. That's where the individual comes in and fills that skeleton of the pitch of the script. Coupled together with the bare bones and the heart, dude, it's a no-brainer. This obviously, giving money to families is a no-brainer. So keep that in mind. The pitch, the script is the bare bones. You give it the heart and the life. Okay, now keep throughout the pitch a posture of language like, hey, that's why I'm here. That's why they got me reaching out to set this up with you on the call today. It's super simple. Always sprinkling in vernacular like super simple. That's why I'm here, here to set it up with you. It's a simple process. I'm here to quickly finish up this process with you so we can get your file closed. I know a lot of people use the different words. I like to use super simple. I like to use, that's why they got me assigned here to finish this up with you, make sure we get this done for you. To let them know, keep them in a posture of mind, keep them in a subconsciously thinking, oh yeah, I got to purchase at the end. I got to pick a choice. All right. Now, obviously this is a little nuanced thing, but a lot of people we talk to get the payment protector because they're went on the fence, go final expense. So make sure when you label them in the pitch, label them into that payment protector. Equity spiel, the equity talk that I do usually helps me to bring their mind on equity, and it does a great job of this. So yeah, we're gonna label them into that payment protector. That's something you wanna do, because a lot of people you guys know the people, it's like, oh, well, is there a plan that pays off my full mortgage? And you're like, oh, well, the 89-year-old is saying that. So yeah, you're gonna wanna label them into the payment protector plan before you pitch. Make sure you do that. All right. Guys, this is important too. Any objection you get during the pitch, don't objection handle that yet, if you can get by it. Any objections during the pitch, try to keep it super concise so you can stay on the straight line. So any objection, you're gonna wanna say, yep, exactly, that's why they got me reaching out here, handling this with you now. I promise I'll get to that, but that's why I'm here. Just try to keep it super simple. Here's an objection where a lot of families will say, or a lot of people will say, oh, well, I don't need this because my daughter is already gonna sell it. You gotta handle it quick and just move on. Just say, yeah, of course, that's great. And I'm super excited to hear that she already has a plan for it. I love speaking to people who already know kind of what's gonna happen. God forbid you pass away. So that's why they got me handling this with you, just to give you all those plans. And it's even better that she's gonna sell it because we know how to handle it better now. And then go right back into the pitch. You don't have to say that word track, that was kind of jumbled, but just remember the quickness of during the pitch, handle the objections quickly, make sure there's no ambiguity, move forward. But the real objection handling comes at the end, after you've given numbers. Now we're getting into the numbers. When you pitch, make the pitch numbers sound like a great deal, no matter what. Even if it's the highest AP you've ever seen, make it sound like a great deal, because it is a great deal. You're still giving their family money. They still qualify for something potentially, and it's a great deal. So make it sound like a great deal. That's why we say stuff like, the results came back way better than I expected. And I use more as like, man, I'm so happy to see that you qualified for programs, and you qualified for 3 different programs here. You actually qualified for 3 different programs here. Like, you see how I'm doing it, making it sound like a no-brainer, a great deal. Just pitch the prices in a way that subconsciously makes them feel like they need to make the decision now. Again, this is why I'm reaching out here, so we can get this set up for you. Super simple process. Take about 5-10 minutes to get in place. Protect the home and equity for you and your daughter there. Keep that concise wording. Make them subconsciously know, hey, I got a great deal. Let's make the decision now. Okay. Now, you've pitched the numbers. That was the super long-winded of the full pitch. You gave the bare bones. Now, here's the heart of it. This is where you come in, you as an individual, saying the words of the script. The objection handling. And please stay with me. Watch this on 2 times speed if you can, to make it quicker. But there's only really 6 objections that I wrote down that I've heard over and over again. And I'm gonna give you simple word tracks, but if you can know how to answer these 6, you'll be unstoppable, in my opinion. Now, here's how I want you to go into my mind for a second. This is how I think of objections. I have a super simple framework. Again, I'm not the best. Everybody's different, but this is my brain speaking. You first got to see if it's a value objection. And any objection that they're like, oh, I don't know if I need this right now. Yeah, when you say you don't need this, ask if it's value. Are you saying do you even see this beneficial for your daughter there? You know, if you pass away, 6 months being paid off for her. If they say, yeah, I think it's beneficial for her to have those months paid off, you got past the very ground layer, the basics of basic. If they say, no, it's not beneficial for my daughter, you're at the ground level. They don't see what you're offering beneficial at all. Then you have to dig into that, which we'll get into that later. But at the very minimum, it's a value objection. If they say, no, I see it beneficial, boom. Okay, then you can get to the next layer. Are you more so just juggling which option to go with? And if they say yes on this one, boom, you word track them to the cheapest option. You know, we have a word track for that. If you don't know it, you can ask me or anybody. You word track them to the cheapest option, which is, can I give you my professional opinion? What most people in your position do, they just get that cheapest option. That way, if you want to up it in the future, it's super simple. That's where you have to get them. And then once you get them to that cheapest option, word track, assume the close. That's the boom, boom, boom framework I think of. Is it a value objection? Do they even see it beneficial? Yes. Okay, great. Is it just juggling which option to go with? Yes. Okay, boom, word track for the cheapest option, assume the close. That's where we want to get it. That's the basis of my objection handling. Now into the 6 objections and I'm finished. Number 1, again, if it's a value objection, they might say something like, why doesn't this pay off the full loan? You're saying 6 months. I want the full loan paid off. This is what I say. Like I said before, every time you do make your monthly payment, that mortgage goes down and the equity goes up, right? Wait till they say yes. Right, and the equity is the real legacy you leave behind to your daughter there. So I'm sure you know better than me, there's so many expenses that come with the passing in the family. The funeral expenses, burial fees, preservation fees. I know it gets hectic, and if she misses a payment while she's handling all that, then the bank can foreclose on the home. Then you lose all that equity that you've been building over all these years. So what this is with the payment protection plan, it's just that financial security blanket so she can grieve, breathe, handle all the hectic things that come with a passing, and not be foreclosed on, not make a rush decision. So she doesn't even have to look at the mortgage for 6 months while she's handling all that. Boom, boom, boom. You know the rest of that. So yeah, just make sure that they know why they can't get the full loan. You don't have to go into why, you're old and you got congestive heart failure. No, just make them say, no, this is a financial security blanket because we don't want her juggling everything and then she missed a payment, the bank forecloses on the home, then you lose all the equity. That puts them in a headspace I found the best, other than any objection handling I've used. That one is the best. Bring up the equity, bring up that it's a financial security blanket, make them understand. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. Assume the close. So that's how to handle that one. The second one I found is a money objection. So this one is when you get them past the value, when they say, no, I see it valuable. Okay, then you word track them to the cheapest option. Boom. Then if you get stuck here, they'll say, well, I just need to check my budget, right? You've all heard that. Then you word track to, okay, no, I understand. I never want to be someone who takes food off the table. Well, that cheapest option there, take food off the table from you. Wait for them to answer. Only reason I say that, by the way, is because we reach out to a lot of homeowners, right? And usually homeowners have an idea of their budget when they contact us. And when they buy a home, right, you have an idea of your budget. So call that out. And then I do want to let you know, by the way, because I genuinely want to help you out, this price can only go up. That's why we reach out as early as we can. Like I said, you missed this at closing. So they have us reach out as early as we can to get this set up for you so the price doesn't increase. Trips to the doctor, the prices can double and you can stop qualifying for stuff here. So that's why we want to reach out and get this set up for you as early as we can. And this is my Hail Mary. Oh, this is controversial, but I find this gets me a lot more, I would say 3 more extra closes per month. When I say this is a Hail Mary play, don't use this unless you want a Hail Mary and get the close right there. So yeah, usually homeowners have an idea of their budget. And again, prices go up, you can double, you can stop qualifying for stuff. That's why they have us reaching out to set it up for you as early as possible. And hey, obviously you pick the draft date, but we do want to get this in place for you so that we can get you protected at a price that it is now. So let's go ahead and do that. Boom, assume the close. That's the Hail Mary play for the budget one, but that's kind of the structure I like to follow. All right, number 3. We've heard this one. I already have life insurance, right? I already have life insurance. This is how I like to play this one. Of course, as you should. Make them feel like that's good. Duh. I mean, that's what you should have. Everybody should have a life insurance. I got a term policy. I got a whole life policy and a VUL. Like me personally, Kai Michael. So yeah, duh. You got, but don't say duh to them. Obviously, be nice and say, of course, yeah, as you should. I obviously want to make sure you keep that, right, in order to replace that income, because I'm sure you know with you passing, that all your income's gone, and then we're gonna have to have some policies to replace that income for your wife or your daughter there. And like I said, most people who do come to us have those 1 to 3 policies already in place, but they do come to us because this is a no-brainer. It's pretty cheap here to cover that mortgage specifically, because we don't want you pulling from those income replacement to pay down the mortgage, right? So it's a no-brainer for most people. Go down that word track. And then you can even sprinkle in, and again, if you haven't used this one yet, say, and again, you know better than me, with the passing in the family, funeral expenses, burial fees, preservation fees, so many fees that come with the passing. You can go into that word track, and then boom, assume the close. Make them know, hey, yeah, of course you have life insurance. Then go into, most people who do come to us have life insurance. This is a no-brainer because you don't have to pull from those. Frame the life insurance as income replacement. Frame this as a cheap option and a no-brainer to cover the mortgage, so you don't have to pull from life insurances to do this one. And then assume the close. All right, number 4, and again, there's only 6, so I'm done, almost done here. Number 4, we've heard this one too. I want to see if there's a better price, man. Like, I actually want to see if there's a better price. Then you go down the license to the state word track where you say, yeah, like I told you earlier, I'm licensed to the top 20 plus carriers here in the state. So I did shop around for the most amount of coverage for you for the least amount of price. That's why they have me reaching out as the senior field underwriter to get you the best price, the most amount of coverage for the least amount of price. So that's a simple one. Go down to the license to the state word track. Multiple carriers. You can even name drop Transamerica. They've all heard. Mutual of Omaha. They've all heard of United Home Life. That builds rapport, I find, when they know, oh yeah, I've seen commercials. Now, number 5. We've heard this one as well. Man, I could just put that money I'm paying monthly towards the policy in a savings account. And then over 25 years, I'm gonna be filthy rich. And that's gonna outpay this policy. Right? We've heard that. I could just put this money in a savings account. And this is what I like to say. Yeah, you could, of course. But are you gonna do that? And then just wait. And they say, huh? You say, no, you definitely could put this in a savings account. But are you gonna do that? And they'll say, well, and then you can just keep going and say, well, what I like to tell people, if you haven't done it to this point, it's highly unlikely that you will going forward. And I always say, why would you pay off the principal mortgage when you can have the insurance paid off? That's why we set this thing up for you. Because God forbid you do pass, the insurance is going to pay it off, not you. And say, you pass away. I always tell my clients, we hope for the best, but plan for the worst. I want you to live another 100 years, obviously, but God forbid you pass next year, next month, next week. I mean, that savings account isn't going to pay off the mortgage like this plan is going to be. And no matter when you pass, this full benefit will be given to your children there. All right? So that's the one I like to use for that. Make them know, hey, you're not going to put it in a savings account. Even if you did, if a week goes by and you pass, you'll have $5 in there. That's not a smart play. This is planning for the worst case scenario. Hey, you need this, and the insurance can pay it for you. That's what insurance is for. If you pass away, we want to pay off towards that mortgage, not have you pay your hard-earned money for it. Last but not least, number 6. Hey, no, everything you're saying sounds good and all, but I don't plan on dying anytime soon. And then this is a good one that I'm sure Tony has said it before and Kirk has said before. And I think I learned it from them, but they said, this is the one I use. Yeah, no, I don't plan on dying anytime soon, so I don't need this. Oh, I got you. So tell me, when do you plan on dying? Again, you can pause because they'll be thinking. They ask you again and say, yeah, no, I was just asking, when do you plan on dying? Because again, we hope for the best, but plan for the worst. I want you to live another 100 years, but God forbid you pass next year, next month, next week, right? So that's why I bring that up, because we don't know, we don't ever plan when we're going to pass. But when you have something like this in place, then you know that no matter when you pass, the full benefit is going to be paid to your children. So I obviously only say this because I genuinely want to help you out, but God forbid you do pass next month, then this full benefit is going to be paid out to your family, and they don't have it. It just softens that blow for the burden that's going to be left to them. All right, so I digged in my brain for the 6 most used objections that I hear. Those are the 6. That's how I handle them. And again, the pitch is the bare bones. You are the heart of the pitch. Your talking, your way of how you handle yourself and the conversation is how you get people over the line. It's really that simple. And again, people ask me, you know, Kai, how are your average AP deals so high? And how did you get that? Do you just pitch higher? I say yes, but there's more to it. And I feel like everything in this video is everything I think about during the pitch when I pitch, because I do care for these people. And I feel like this makes the average AP go up. Not just pitching higher. It's doing this, letting this do the work so that the pitch can sound like a no-brainer, right? If you explain everything, they're going to want more coverage because they know everything. And they're like, oh, I want to leave more to my family. So yeah, pitch higher, but pitch higher because you've done the work early. Last but not least, please remember when you're going through these objection handles, don't be abrasive. Don't be a jerk. Don't push them over aggressively. Always sprinkle in, hey, and I only say this, by the way, because I genuinely want to help. You know, and by the way, I'm only saying this because I'm hearing your situation a little more, and I do speak to families all day, and I see this a lot. So sprinkle all that in. Hey, I genuinely want to help. Hey, I hear your situation. I want to help you while I'm on the phone. If there's anything I can do, be of service first and foremost. But that's everything I know. Again, everybody's different. This is Kai Michael. Kirk is Kirk consistency. Tony Lee's going to have a different way. But I feel like it's the bare bones of it. And if you get what I know, then you can take things from Josh. You can take things from Kaysen. You can take things from Fernando. I can list everybody. So that's it. And I'm peace.